Hey guys, welcome back to Clash with Barndo. Yes, it is on a repeat. You may have a bit of a laugh, old Rick Astley. We know the game and we're going to play it now. This is a little series I'm going to start. I don't know if I'll do it more often than not, but it's something that I've been keen to do for a while, and it's to actually show wars and show a series of fails on bases. These are hardcore wars. These are wars against great teams, great bases, and we have failures. And you can see I've actually recorded this, and then I'm doing a voiceover on the side because I didn't want to get it too long a format. But you can see I'm showing some bases that six Schlitzes, I can't pronounce it properly, ones they failed on. I'm showing ones that we failed on. Their number 14 took 5 attacks. Their number 27 took 5 attacks. And their number 4 took 4 attacks. That's 14 attacks over 3 bases. And 2 of them down the very bottom with Town Hall 8 defences, Town Hall 9 defences, but good bases. All teams do it, all teams fail. This is the base in question that I'm going to analyse, and it's Hamp, their number 14 on the map. Exposed Queen down the bottom, she has got 1 air defence on her, both Expos on ground. The air defence is split up, what looks like a semi-dead zone in the middle, and a fairly simple clan castle draw. Generally when people do that, it's a quick draw. So what I've done there is just to have a bit of a look at that. I'm not too sure on the format. I hope I don't have to voice this over a second time. That's the end of the war. Actually, sorry, where are we? Yeah, that's the end of the war. Absolutely peeler of a war. Please go and watch the recap if you want to have a bit of a laugh. It came down to the last 10 minutes of the war. So we're going to have a look at Tank's attack on this base to start off with. And I think Tank came close, but obviously didn't get the 3 stars. And then the other 3 guys, the other 3 Town Hall 9s before it needed a Town Hall 10, swapped armies. So Tank's gone in with a Queen Walk and Loons with some dragons. Sorry with the stuttering, I sound like an idiot. And he also took a Clan Castle Hound. Now, what I noticed when I watched this the first time, because I wanted to pick on one of these bases, and it's not to pick on particular individual people, I just think that this might actually help us, and that's always been my first part of it. So I apologise to their number 14 from 6 Schlitzes, and you know, like, he may or not use this base. You know, I've got 300 subscribers, so that's mainly my core guys. Guys from above and beyond, and people that I've met. So you can see right there, the Queen got to that air defence quite easily. The King got to his air defence really easily. It used, I think it was 20 army space. I have it written down, 16 unit spaces. And then that leaves the Dragons with the Hound to go in. Now, this is where I think he probably lost it on the strategy-wise, was that air defence, the Queen pounding away. I think maybe if he had have gone in with 2 lightnings for that Queen's air defence, that would have meant that 3 air defences would have been dead, both Expos on ground. And yeah, so we've seen so far 1 Heat Seeker. That's what I call the black air mines. I've always called them Heat Seeker. You've got an Archer Tower shooting at the healers at the top there, but now, of course, our Queen's dead, so she had no. She was going to die with what the CC was going for her. The Loons are pathing around. There's a couple of Dragons gone off by themselves in different areas. You see a few more traps coming out. Did I play this at 1 speed the whole time? That's all right. And you see now, the Dragons definitely aren't going to get there. I've zoomed in to show any remaining traps that we pick up in this. So the Dragons will get the Town Hall. I think that's where I sped it up. There you go. Well done, Barndo. So a good idea because of the positioning of the blowers as to where the Dragons were going. It showed us the Clan Castle. It showed us 3 Heat Seekers. So we saw 3 out of the 4 Heat Seekers. We saw where all the Teslas were. What was in the Clan Castle. Now, to me, I think that's what should have gone as a similar kind of attack like that again on the second attack. That King and that Queen were brilliant without the healers. The Queen, you could have just done a Queen swap for that air defence and it would have been straightforward. So where are we? I'm going to go into the second attack versus this base. And this was Piercy. Now, Piercy's gone in with a Queen Walk Govaho. And I did show something after this replay, I think from memory. You see he starts the Queen on Elixir, Dark Elixir storage, gets that Wizard to help out with the gold storage, and then starts the Queen going down. Now, that's a lot of time chewed up so far at the start. So time's going to be an issue in this raid regardless. Starting the Queen and then the ground units aren't going to get in till around 2 minutes. They've got to get through all the middle and all these kinds of things. So it needs a rage to get the queen. Now have a look. There's 2 ground expos. One's pounding on the queen. Then you're walking into 2 cannons as well on top of that. Now that golem got sent down. 4-point defences down the bottom there. The clan castle came out. That golem was dead before the walls were open. Valk's going off to the side. And he's got out a couple of hogs. But you see by this stage here, the clan castle, he's forgotten the clan castle. Shit, I've done that before. It's such a nasty feeling. But the clan castle has Valks, and he will remember that eventually. This is the scroll bars. They're going to need to fix the scroll bars in the next patch with all these new units and spells, and hopefully they get like a spell scroll bar. The hogs go through. They do fairly well. So he didn't have a lot of hogs. So he's actually done really well with the hogs that he had in place. The queen's still alive. She's still got her healer, but everything's stuck. We're in those walls. We're stuck. We're not going to be able to get there in time, and we're going to run out of time. So Piercy did a really great attack there. We've seen 3 of the giant bombs for the ground side of it. Again, the clan castle, but putting that golem into the clan castle, into those point defences, and then that golem was dead before we got in there. So that puts undue pressure straight onto his king. Now I'm showing the range on that air defence because what I thought was, well, why not possibly put 1 healer on the golem? Why not put 2 healers on the golem? That way the golem's going to take all of those point defences. The golem's going to take all of the clan castle with the poison. And those healers will roll on to the rest of the raid. The raid that keeps on giving. I've said these with healer raids. Sometimes it's worth considering. Well, shit, a golem gets 100% heals from that healer. So you can take a couple of point defences for quite a while. So maybe we could have considered that. Now, AJ has gone in a little bit smoother with the wizard, same pathing for the queen where she's going, and I think it's setting himself up to fail because he's fighting into that blower. He's fighting now 3-point defences coming into the 3-point defences. Same thing with the golem. The golem goes down the bottom, and that's dead before the king even opens the doors. So unfortunately now the queen, she pops her ability, she's going to die. Skeletons come out for her. We've got a few Valks wandering. And then as you see, that king, he's had to tank for a while. He's already taken a fair bit of damage. Has to pop his ability. Has to get out there. You've got the walking Valks. They actually worked well with the healers from the dead queen. And then, of course, we've seen the golem's path over what could have been a possible second double giant bomb set. But it wasn't a double giant bomb. So we've picked out now that we don't know where this 4th giant bomb is. And you're going to have to analyse, is it between the wizard tower and the archer tower that's remaining, or is it between the mortar and the blower? But now the Valks, they're still going, and again it's going to come down to a bit of time here. Those Valks have got big healers on them. They're still trying to tank and get through there, but there's just not enough DPS coming up out of them. So that was a good attempt, AJ, but I think if you go over this raid a few times and go over the replay, pause, go back, you'll see. And there's just these few pointers. So now we're going to have a look at Albert. Now Albert was the last Town Hall 9 to hit this base, so that makes 4. And Govaho is his special army. This is what he is shit hot with every time. So Albert's gone for the straight charge with the golems into the Queen's compartment. Poisons a CC. We see the same similar thing with the golem being split before he gets into the midfield. A good jump. I like where he's positioned that jump. He's working on getting to those ground expos straight away. There's nothing to annoy the queen on the side. But unfortunately, old Jimmy Bob detoured with some Valks, and that's caused his whole raid to go askew. So unfortunately, maybe if he had to put his jump just a touch to the left of where the first one, then he would have got the detouring through there and it would have been a little bit different. But you just see there's nowhere near enough hogs or spells to be able to do anything but the 4th giant bomb being shown. So that's the series of Town Hall 9 attacks. I've tried to do this with watching the raids and then doing a bit of a talk over afterwards. I've put it in 2 times because I don't want it to be a 20-minute video just for people to see their attacks and do that, because you might want to rewind it. But unlucky, guys. I mean, this is wars. I'm not perfect as a player, that's for sure. I stuffed up both my raids in this war on Bando 80, and these are things that I should be doing better, and I am my hardest critic, like a lot of the people that I play with in my regular clan. But this is Yasha's this is his 3-star clear in the end. So Town Hall 10, he doesn't have everything maxed out yet, but he has got the max Valks, the old max Redheads, and the max Hogs, and he's gone with the same path and the same conceptual raid where the Queen walks from the top. Now she's got one Expo on her. You see that Queen just get so low, and we just go, oh my God, if the Queen dies, it's the nerves. This was at the end of a war. The Queen's passed out, and you're thinking, why didn't she go for that Expo? Why didn't she go in there? But out come the Redheads. They're angry. They're nasty. This is a Town Hall 10 hit down. So let his Queen get really, really close. But after that, there was no real question of the capacity of this raid. So well done, Yash. It's expected. It's expected of Town Hall 10s to 3-star Town Hall 9s. Occasionally we see a fail. Same with 11s. We're expected to hit 10s and do it. But so I guess I'm at the point now where I'll wrap up where I'm going with my thoughts on that, but maybe put up a couple of suggestions. So as I've said, the two ground expos, I think Tank was on the right path with the air. I think Tank scouted out a perfect, absolutely sterling entry with that King. Got that air defence for 16 unit spaces. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Then up the top, Tank could have gotten that Queen. Well, it's not that he could have. He went in with a walk. But upon watching that raid, you should be able to go, well, shit hot, that Queen can kill that air defence all by itself, and then she dies. Sacrifice, it's a big card to throw away, but that air defence is dead. That leaves you 2 air defences. There's a Dragon Holo attack, which is based around lightning out 2 air defences, using heroes to remove 1 air defence, and as cheap as spells as possible, and then you Dragon into the Queen, you use a Hound and Loons for the remaining. You didn't need to do that for this base. You could see where the air defence, where 3 of the Heat Seekers were. You could see that both these blowers were facing away from the Queen, and the 2 heroes with 16 unit spaces removed 2 air defences. That means you could remove the remaining 2 air defences with 2 lightnings. You could also get some splash damage on the level 30 Queen while she walks past this air defence, and then the Earthquake would soften up the Archer Towers as well. So to me, then you would go in with like 8 Dragons and a handful of Loons. That would have been a smart second replay going off a Tank's first one. But what we had was people swap to a Clutch Army and go to units that they're more familiar with them. We need to be diverse in these environments where people build bases on generally the mass armies. And at the moment, Valks, Hogs, they're the mass. They are the norm. They are the strongest performing in wars. Then you could have just gone in with that at the end. But in saying that, then to have 2 people do Queen walks with Go the Ho, where they're not utilising this cheap draw. You could draw that with 1 giant, and while you draw that with 1 giant, you could also use 3 wall breakers and open an entry point to get into the base. So that's a perfect use of that 1 giant. Then you could draw it back with an archer, poison, kill it, and you're not wasting a golem. 30 unit spaces, the golem is dying in the 3 raids, and even in Yash's raid at the end, it was pretty much dead. And to me, it's not utilising it. I don't like clan castles in these positions. I try not to build my own Town Hall 9s with the clan castle there. I think it's exposed. I think unless you're playing a mind game with someone and it's a long draw, I think it's a bit of a waste of a position. That's my opinion. Obviously, people use them. That's the beautiful thing about fair play and the variety of it. You know, everyone's got all these different ideas, and this bloke's gotten 5 defends and taken a Town Hall 9. He's a champion, old hand. I love it. So, based on that, then also we kept seeing people put the walks up the top, pushing into here, and then being forced to take that expo for the entire time, walk into 2 cannons, walk into a 3rd expo at some points. It's counterproductive. So it's a very simple herd up top here with a couple minions. It's not a very simple herd here, but you could get with a minion onto that, possibly that elixir collector. You could use a wizard even on that elixir collector, and you could push your queen inside at that air defense. To me, having watched all these raids and analysed them again, I think that would have been a good feature, because you get a skeleton trap as well early, but you get one of those cannons down before you get into the air defences. sorry, the Expos. So you're definitely going to need a rage no matter what. The problem with going into that corner is you're going to have three storages. So that means that the queen's going to be there for quite a while, but once she's gotten through those storages, she may require a second rage. Or using your ability and then knowing what's afterwards. We know there was a Tesla farm. There was 3 Teslas in the middle here. But using one rage at a well-timed position, then your ability, the queen would kill that Expo, the 2 Wizard Towers, and she would break the path of the double giant bomb between those. Eventually, it wouldn't be a quick thing, but you know she's in there, you know she's alright, you would start with your rage first, and then you would hold your ability to start the second phase of your army. You could then choose to send some units at her with poisons. Probably not the best idea because of the simple case that the queen's got enough to worry about without throwing in a Valk, wizards and all those kinds of things. I think a herd over the side here on a couple of these buildings would have been good, and then possibly utilising the fact that that one air defence is right there. You could have put a golem tanking these 3-point defence, sorry, that's not a point, it's a splash, these 2-point defences, and even that Expo if you wanted. If you went into the Expo range, chances are you might go into the Arch Tower range. You've got 3 to 4 point defences before you get inside. Your golem is going to die every time. Chuck it a little bit higher up, just around here, around your spell factory, for your golem to go in, 1 or 2 healers, and you've got something that's going to smash into the raid. And then to be able to protect those 2 healers, what you do is if you're going to use, say, your bulk Valks, you might use 10 Valks, something like that. You could then use a rage early. That rage is going to get that air defense down dead before it does anything to the healers. Then your second jump would be somewhere around that wall, because that would give you access to all of these cells. You'd get all of these things. You'd get that Tesla farm, and then you'd be stuck around here, but you'd go out with possibly another rage if you had it. So to me, if I was to have this base assigned to me as a cleanup, after watching the second attack, the Queen Walk, I definitely would not have gone from the top. I wouldn't have chosen to start there because the Queen was always going to struggle with these 2 Expos. And then also the Golem problem down the bottom. The Golem always died in every person that did a grand attack against this. So to me, that was 2 very big points. And you sort of look at it and you just go, well, really in the end, as a second attack, a dragon, the king to get rid of that, the queen to get rid of that, dragons through the guts, lightning out the remaining air defence, and the base would have been smashed, annihilated. But unfortunately, this is what wars are. We've all got armies that we play with and we're comfortable with, and we've got the pressure. And then someone gets a third fail on a base, and someone else is going in, and I trust Albert 99% of the attacks he does. He's brilliant. He's a good guy. He's played strategy. He knows what he's doing with these armies. I'd like to think I'm the same with my main accounts, but, you know, I stuff things up too. So I hope no one's sort of hurt by this. I'm doing this video to be able to sit back after the war, after all the emotions have gone. No one's cost us the war win. That's an important part of it, but we can definitely learn, and we can have hindsight, and we can say, righto, yes, you're right, I probably shouldn't have walked up the top. Yes, you're right, maybe we should have gone again with the second air attack versus this army. For all of the above people watching this replay, please go ahead and watch the 2 attacks that Six Schlitzes did on, it was Tank and Chelsea. They used a lightning lava loon strategy, and wouldn't have been useful on this base. But to me, they were 2 raids I noticed that I just sort of go, shit, they were good, and I can incorporate that into a future war. So, yeah, great win. Please go and watch the recap. I'll be doing that a little bit later tonight. I chose to do this, hopefully, just in case there was a update tonight. But, yeah, hope I've helped, and clash on.